You said that you hoped that you'd be able to play with a little bit less pressure than usual because maybe it was an underdog situation. Were you able to play in the way that you wanted to?
At times, not throughout. Went for it when I had a chance, in the break point in the first set. So maybe shouldn't have, but I did. So no regrets there, I guess. But I just struggled to stay consistent enough throughout the match, and that's why he deserved to win. He was better today. Well, he's a lefty, number one, and that makes everything different. If you compare it to yesterday's match and today's match, it's like I have to play two different ways. So for me, it's much more of a change. It's not an excuse, but I definitely have to play totally different, and he can play pretty much the same like he plays against Berdych or Stan and so forth. So it's definitely more up to me to getting used to the lefty spin quicker, coming over the return very often instead of chipping it, which I've been doing all week. So there's always going to be a bit of a up and down from that standpoint, but I thought it was okay at times, but just my court position, getting used to knowing exactly the dimension, how things are going to work out, is sometimes a bit tricky, and that's why I didn't either choose the wrong side or I just can't get the read I usually get, like against Del Potro or Gasquet or Djokovic for that matter. So that's why it really changes everything around, and he does a good job picking up the slice, and he does a good job, staying on the baseline when he needs to, and he can also play from back, so he's got multiple options, and that's what makes him so tough to play against. Well, what I learned is that I can play 3 weeks pretty easily. I played a lot of matches, as of late. A lot of three-setters, a lot of tennis. So from that standpoint, that's very satisfying, knowing that the body can do it, the mind can do it, life allows it to happen. So I'm happy that I have that option as well, that I know I can play 3 weeks in a row, because I remember Agassi didn't do that at all anymore towards the end of his career. He used to play 1, maybe 2, and then he would always pull out the 3rd week if there was something planned. So for me, I'm happy. I was able to play Basel, Paris, and here now in London through extreme tough conditions, with a lot of running and tennis and traveling and so forth. So that standpoint, I'm very pleased, and just beating again 2 top 10 players is a good thing for me after not having beaten any for almost 7 or 8 months. And considering the back issues I had, I'm pleased that I'm pain-free for a long period of time now with a lot of tennis, and that's definitely also going to give me confidence physically and also mentally.
Roger, clearly the older you get, the harder it is to bounce back from tough matches. You've spoken about that quite a lot. One of the extraordinary things about Rafa and Novak is that this ability they seem to have to bounce back in a very short space of time from a grueling match. From your experience, how much longer will they be able to do that? They're 26, 27. At what point do you think, for a sort of finely tuned athlete, does this become more of an issue?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where the game is going to go, and they're clearly in their prime right now in terms of age and the way they're playing and rankings and so forth. So from that standpoint, you would think that that's going to still be, for some time, they'll be able to do that. Rafa started earlier, on the tour, and he was unbelievably successful as a teenager, like Bjorn Borg was. I mean, I think they're the 2 most successful teenagers we've had in our sport already. So for Rafa, maybe you have to almost consider him a little older. Plus, he's had more severe injuries than maybe Novak has had. But I don't know how much that plays into it all. I think for them it's about more commitment, wanting to do it, wanting to bounce back, and wanting to take the pain, day in, day out. That's the grind that's more difficult, and I think, than the actual bounce back, because I've just played 3 weeks in a row and it's fine, Of course, I was a little tired today, but you can block that out to a degree. And so from that standpoint, I think the way they play, the way they do all of that defending, is just something you really want. And if you don't want it anymore, then retirement probably comes in very quickly.